Doctor, and a very good morning I beg to you. My name is Nur Andasha binti Zulkifli, and my group mate are Aiman Nasir, Amir Harisan, Nurul Ashkin, and Nurul Roshida. So today we will present on the construction industry in the economy of the chosen country. We have choose in this topic we have choose the country which is Luxembourg. I hope you can enjoy watching our video presentation. These are some of the topics that will be presented by us in this video presentation. The first one is introduction. Second one is the resources allocation. The third one is the interaction between household and firms. The fourth one is the market mechanism. The fifth one is market structure, and the last one is conclusion. To begin with, we choose the statement from the website Construction 21 International that highlighted Luxembourg's construction sector has fared better than most European Union countries during the economic downturn, reflecting the broader economic improving trajectory. So we can deduce from this statement that the construction sector in Luxembourg is expanding rapidly comparison to the other countries. According to MovieJob.com 2021, the number of persons in Luxembourg has increased significantly in recent years, with a 4% increase between 2018 and 2020 and a 28% increase over the last 10 years. As a result, there is a greater need for construction, and new residential projects, single-family homes, and other structures are being built on a regular basis. As a result of this statement, we can conclude that the construction industry in Luxembourg is experiencing tremendous expansion as the country's population grows. Furthermore, Luxembourg is experiencing fast expansion in the real estate market, which is one of the country's most successful industries. The number of affluent international individuals and foreign corporations establishing their headquarters in Luxembourg is the primary reason for the rise of both the residential and commercial real estate sectors.
First, we will talk about how the resources allocations in the construction industry. Basically, we know that the growth in the populations of Luxembourg increased from 4% to 28% in 10 years. So this thing had a substantial influence on the demand for new residential projects and also other structure. That is why the government of Luxembourg is facing difficulty in satisfying the growing of the demand. So how does the Luxembourg deal with this difficulty? So in this topic, we will discuss several resources, namely labor, material, funds, and financials, and also the land in order to help the Luxembourg achieve its goal in construction industry. Basically, we know that Luxembourg is one of the smaller nations in the European Union that relies largely on the EU national to fill the labor force opening. Luxembourg's job prospects have drawn a huge number of cross-border workers, especially from Germany, French, and others. So this thing can be seen when only 1/3 of the workers is Luxembourgish, with the rest coming from the three countries. However, this country is still battling to recruit the skilled candidates, particularly in the construction industry. So as the solution, Luxembourg has launched several initiatives to attract a huge number of experts by boosting the number of teachers for its employees. So among the attempts from the Luxembourg is the implementations of a pay raise for construction and civil engineering personnel that start in 2018. So according to the article from Till and March 2019, over the following 3 years wage will raise by more than 2%, by 1% in 2019, 0.7% in 2020, and 0.7% in 2021. And all the employees will be eligible for training that leads to the recognized certification. For employers in the administrative sector, they will earn 2 more yearly leave days. Construction materials are the second most important resources, and recently, the construction industry has faced the rising raw material price and scarcity. So this happened because most factories were closed, causing a production slump in the worldwide output. Despite a modest rebound in several industries, numerous raw resources are now in short supply due to the excessive demand. So to assist and secure the Luxembourg sectors, the government extended the contracted deadline and provide a compound exemptions if the building was not completed on time. Prepayment is also being considered by the government as a means of managing the rising price for materials such as wood and steel. However, the construction is still at a risk of not being completed. Therefore, referring to the Luxembourg Circular Economy Monthly Briefing 2021, They have come out with the Digital Deconstruction Initiative from the involvement of three Luxembourg-based partners, which resulted in a build of open source software to maximize the reusability of the material from renovations and demolitions projects. Other than that, there is also a cooperation with the University of the Luxembourg and also the SERAMCO, and they created the cement and the concrete from the high quality recycled material to replace the primary raw resources. Land scarcity is also being debated because the construction industry is ready to build to that specific low-cost market, but it needs some policy help from the communities in terms of efficient zoning. So government and communities need to allow more land to be developed so that they can continue to construct a building, particularly in that potential area or street. Some of land or property is ideal for residential development, and it doesn't involve the construction of extra road or infrastructure. Nevertheless, the owners are not from the government. Hence, the Interior Ministry proposed a Baldebetrage site development contract to address the issue in mobilizing the building land. In this contract, the landowner and the municipality both need to design the contract, and the purpose is to ensure that once the property is converted from the reserve land to active development land, the building site develops swiftly. Last but not least is the financial resources. We know that the financial resources are very critical throughout the construction process, and one of the challenges that will come from these resources is the delay in construction project, which were caused by the bad cash flow management, insufficient financial resources, and also financial market volatility. So how does Luxembourg settle this issue? Luxembourg is very lucky because the construction sector benefits from the robust growth of the financial infrastructure, which allow the government to give a numerous financial assistance to execute the building projects. This thing can be seen in the report of European Construction Sector Observatory 2018. In this report, they said that the investment in construction rose after the crisis, as evident by the several special public funds, and each of it which invest in a project in line with the different fields in the construction industry, such as the railway fund. There is also additional financial instrument available, such as syndicate loans, which provide funding for large-scale projects, such as land and building acquisitions and mergers. Overall, it can be said that the Luxembourg is efficient in dealing with the problem of scarce resource allocations to meet the needs in the building sector so that they can maintain the country's economic stability. As a result, make it one of Europe's wealthiest countries.
Hi, my name is Ame Harishan and I will be continuing the presentation with the interaction between household and firms in Luxembourg. In an economy, there will always be a circular flow of income through this interaction, which is based on the demand and supply. This is an illustration of a circular flow of income. Based on the illustration, it can be seen that the firms produce goods and services using factors of production such as labor, land, and capital from households. Households will pay for these goods and services, and their expenditures will go to the firms. Some of their expenditures will be returned back to them in the form of incomes through rent, wages, interest, and profit, thus creating a flow of income. However, there will always be money moving in and out of the flow. Money flowing out is known as withdrawals, while money flowing in is known as injections. For example, interaction between countries happen and Luxembourg exports goods to other countries. The money from other countries will then flow back into the cycle. Government also uses taxes to make investments, which also causes money to flow in. Now, let's look at the construction industry in Luxembourg. Luxembourg is a small country and its population is growing very rapidly that the housing supply does not meet the high housing demand due to the lack of land for construction. To solve this problem, the government is establishing a special fund to support housing developments and pursuing an active land acquisition policy so that more land will become available for construction. When more lands become available, firms can use them to make more houses to meet the demand. Despite the rapid growth in the Luxembourg population, it was found that there was an increase in the number of job vacancies in the construction industry, which may be resulted from the difficulty of finding the right skills on the market. Thus, the government is launching several initiatives to train and prepare more construction workers to fill in these vacancies. More labor means more output as firms need labor to produce goods and services. Lastly, the ranking of the top five most exported construction products from Luxembourg has remained stable, although there is a decline of 23.2% from 2010, where 366 million euros was exported. Moving on, the government is expected to make investment in the modernization of the rail network, better cross-border connections, and new multi-modal exchange hubs with neighboring countries to reduce peak hour congestion. The money that comes from exports and investments acts as injections to the circular flow of income to keep the interaction between household and firm going. So that is all from me. Thank you.
My name is Rashida. I will proceed with market mechanism, where we will see the demand and supply in Luxembourg's construction sector. Construction is one of the most important and successful industry in Luxembourg, which contributes quite a large part in the country's GDP. The pie chart below indicates the percentage of increment from 2010 to 2019 contributed by the three subsectors in each element. Increment in construction sector is mainly contributed by three subsectors, which are real estate activities, narrow construction, and architectural and engineering activities, which can be seen through these four factors, as can be seen in the pie chart, namely number of enterprises, gross operating rate, turnover, and employment rate. High demand for construction in Luxembourg is mainly caused by the high demand in housing. Luxembourg's population grew by 24.8% from 204,900 in 2010 to 255,700 in 2019. The growth of the population is also influenced by the increase in migration rate. Hence, the increase in the country's population affects the demand in housing to increase too. However, there is short in supply of housing, driving the price to rise higher. Although the land seems to be enough for housing construction, there is a shortage of supply as property owners have no interest in selling or developing their property. Also, changes to domain rules or the abrupt release of vast areas of state-owned property might reduce the value of existing residences or at least lessen the gains they were expecting. As the price of housing keeps rising, government is concerned on the affordability of purchasing houses in Luxembourg, as they seek to maximize the welfare of the people. Thus, they have supported few projects that aims to lower the housing costs. For instance, they injected a total capital around 10 million euro in a project led by Société Nationale des Habitations à Bon Marché, a national low-cost housing company, to provide 250 to 300 new homes. As for the COVID-19 effect, as the world is shocked with COVID-19 pandemic, which causes economic downturn, house prices and sales are affected a little bit. Nonetheless, housing demand still grows and the price of housing follows the same trend. Next, in Luxembourg's construction sector, there is also high demand in wood-based construction aside from concrete. Wood is a good choice of building material as the world is focusing on building sustainable cities, and wood itself has high efficiency, high performance, and its economical price leads to high demand of wood-based construction. Unfortunately, the price of wood rose in 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic, which started in early 2020, has caused shortage supply of raw materials as global manufacturing slowed down and the pandemic has pushed many factories to close. It is also because the high demand of wood from the United States, who have partially recovered from the pandemic's early impact. In an attempt for the government to lessen the excessive demand and stabilize the economy, the price of raw materials was increased by 30 to 40% as the result of the shortage supply.
Hello, I am Ayman Nasir and I will explain the study on market structure in Luxembourg. Luxembourg's market structure, particularly in the construction industry, has fared better than most European nations throughout the economic crisis, benefiting from a high-income economy with stable growth and low unemployment. Construction production in Luxembourg showed an increasing production in 2011 before declining by 8% until 2013. However, productivity has begun to recover in recent years, rising by 3.7% between 2013 and 2014, while the number of construction firms in Luxembourg increased by 15.8%. Therefore, Luxembourg has perfect competition in its market structure, with a significant number of buyers and sellers as a result of its proximity to France, Belgium, and Germany. Following that, the property market in Luxembourg has performed fairly well in 2013, with a 7.4% increase in the number of building permits issued. The registered average price of apartments under construction in Luxembourg increased by 8.5% in 2020, up from 16.7% the year before. This shows that the residential sector is less affected in commercial real estate due to the country's stable and continuous population, despite a few months after the commencement of the pandemic. Due to the existing demand and low sale-to-supply ratio, building investment declined by 12.4% between 2008 and 2010, then increased by 8.6% until 2015, leading to an increase in institutional investors for the residential sector since the epidemic's commencement, particularly for block sales and office investment. Therefore, Luxembourg is planning to develop enough supply to meet its population's housing demand, despite supply and demand still remain imbalanced, in order to maintain the country's present and future financial security.
To summarize, the construction sector has been shown in the literature to be an essential factor of every country's economy, and its expansion can contribute significantly to considerable changes in the economic conditions of emerging countries. Furthermore, construction is an important business that contributes significantly to a country's economic success, as well as an investment-driven sector in which the government has a great interest. Next, to summarize on the Luxembourg part, Luxembourg is also a country that encourages innovation as evidenced by the presence of construction-related clusters and projects. For example, there are a number of technologies and innovation in construction initiatives that have been put in place to bring together all of the sector's main stakeholders to promote the sustainable construction innovation. In addition, the Luxembourg construction industry encourages the development of new talents. Initiatives are focusing on high-demand skill areas including energy-efficient building improvement and the use of renewable infrastructures. This rise has also resulted in some claims that building is one of the best-paying industries in the Luxembourg. As a result, it is evident that the construction industry in Luxembourg has a bright future to benefit from greater government spending, as well as have a strong demand for residential and office structures. And also, it can increase the government spending. So I think that is the wrap up of our presentations. That's all from us. Thank you.